I'm gluten-free Gigi, and I'm living gluten, dairy, soy, and nut-free. I understand how difficult it can be to enjoy the foods you love on a special diet. That's why I'm making these videos, to show you how simple and affordable, healthy, allergy-free living can be. Come join me in the kitchen. I have a fantastic recipe for autumn for you today. It's a roasted vegetable salad. You take salads to potlucks and festivities throughout the season. This is a warm salad you're going to love. Starts with butternut squash, and because this is the most difficult veggie to prep, I want to show you exactly how to do it. So you take your butternut squash. I've washed mine and dried it. Make sure it's really dry so it's not slippery. What we want to do is first take a really sharp, sturdy knife and take off the ends. This is known to be a difficult one to handle because of the shape and because it's so dense and hard. So find an area where it will lay semi-sturdy or still for you here, and put your knife right down into the large section. Really push through. Make sure you get all the way through there. And then we'll turn it around. Same thing. And these halves need to be semi-even, but they don't have to be perfect. We just want to get it opened up right now. When you get through, you can kind of pull it apart if you need to. Fantastic. You need to take the seeds out. I just have a bowl I'll put these into. We'll throw these out. Don't need them. You can see inside it's kind of soft. It's pretty easy to get into once you break through this exterior. So what we'll do, once we take the seeds out, we'll get it cut again, and then we'll peel it with our vegetable peeler. So in this salad, we're roasting lots of fantastic fruits and veggies that we have in the autumn. So it's a seasonal dish. I've taken this dish to a potluck, and it's just absolutely delicious. Easy, very healthy. And it's naturally gluten-free too, which is great. Alright, so now if you take these cleaned halves and pop them over here, we'll just go down, split these, which you'll find is much easier now. I like the smaller pieces to work with for peeling. So we'll take our vegetable peeler, and I'll take my bowl back here, get rid of that, and then you can just go right down the squash. And one tip I have when you're selecting these to make life a little easier in the halving and peeling department is if you find a squash with a straight line here. Some get really curvy, and I try to avoid those because they're more difficult to work with. So that looks great, and this is fine. It's exactly how you want it. There's maybe a little peel there to get rid of. That looks fantastic. So you want to peel all of these. Alright, we've got our squash taken care of. Let's move this out of our way. We'll just go back to our big knife. And if you'll go right above the area where the seeds were, you just want to cut this off. Do this with each one. I save the curved pieces for last because they're the more difficult. So I take these pieces and just find a flat surface. Be really careful, these are tough. And cut them. And then when you cube, what I'm doing today is about a 1-inch cube. So as I finish with these, I have a bowl here. I'm just putting all my veggies over in this bowl. So everything goes in together. You can leave these as large or as small as you like. Just make sure that everything is somewhat uniform when you're roasting, so your cooking time for everything will be even. Alright, now let's take the curved pieces. You can work with these any way you like. I find if you cut them this way, it's a little more dangerous, so I hold on to them and just work very carefully to try to get them sectioned like this, and then you can turn them on their sides if you'd like to slice them into the cubes. And those look fine. So now that we have our butternut squash completely prepped, get it into our bowl. And that was about a 2-pound squash that I'm using. So what I want to do now is put the rest of our ingredients in. I have one more prep to show you, but I want to get rid of some of my prep dishes. So I have in this bowl 2 cups of cubed Honeycrisp apple. You can use any apple that you like. I have a little lemon juice on mine so that it doesn't brown. So put that in. You can see how I dice my apples and prep those in my How To Basics videos. I have 1 red onion, and I've cubed it. And I'm putting in about a cup of cranberries, and these are frozen cranberries. You can hear those. They cook a little slower when they're frozen, and they won't get as mushy, so I like mine frozen. And the last thing I want to add is a fennel bulb. So let me show you how I handle fennel. We've got all these feathery fronds. Those are edible if you'd like. We're not using them in this dish. We can garnish with those. So I'll move those out of the way. What you want to do is take your fennel and cut off the root end. Take the exterior leaves off. And then you don't have nearly as much to work with. I like to cut them in half. And so that's what it looks like inside. And flip it over. And I'm giving mine just a rough chop. Now if you want to, you can turn your board and just go down this way. I think we lost one there. And that's how you take care of your fennel. It'll go right into our bowl with everything else. And that'll give you a really nice anise or licorice type flavor. It's a very mild flavor, but it's really good. Goes well with the autumn flavor. So isn't that pretty already? So put everything in here. I have 1½ teaspoons of orange zest. I'll put this right in. I just zest mine right on parchment. I find I can never get it out of a bowl, so that's easy cleanup. And we'll add some seasonings. I've got a ½ teaspoon of dried sage. It's ground. I want to add a ¼ teaspoon of white pepper. And then I'll add a teaspoon of coarse sea salt. And with the orange that I zested, I saved my orange. I'll show you why. After we roast our veggies, we'll use the juice from the orange in this dish. And since citrus is in season in the autumn, it's a great way to accent these autumn veggies. So give all this a toss. And then we want to take about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm drizzling. What I want is everything coated, not too heavy, not swimming. This will give us a nice crisp exterior. And that's why we don't need to grease our pan, because we'll have our veggies tossed in the oil. Just give it a really good stir. Make sure everything's coated. And those look great. So we're ready to go to the pan. I want to spread these out. Just spoon them right on. We've got our oven on 400. We'll cook them for about 40 to 45 minutes, but I want to come back in 20 minutes and show you how they look, and we'll give them a stir. It's been about 20 minutes. Let's have a look at our veggies. You can hear them sizzling away. They smell fantastic already. Just take these right out. They look great. This is exactly what you want to see. Just take a spoon, sort of pull the edges to the middle, and you can sort of tell how they've gotten tender and release some of the juices here, and you see the cranberries are just already coming apart, which is great. This will be wonderful when we have our dressing in the end and toss it. But first, we need to make sure get these edges to the center. Scoop these in, give it a good stir, spread them back out. I want to go right back in the oven with these. We'll let them cook for about 15 to 20 more minutes, so we'll come back then and we'll check them out, and then I'll show you how to finish our dish. It's been 40 minutes total. We had our first 20 minutes, we checked and turned our veggies. Now 20 more minutes have passed. It's time to take them out of the oven. They look fantastic. I wish you could smell these. When you make it, you'll know they're ready because they just have this amazing smell. They look great. See how hot they are? We can leave these right here. I want you to come over. I want to show you how to make the most simple vinaigrette you'll ever make. You'll use this one time and time again. The orange that I used earlier, you see, I've zested this guy. So now we just want to cut it. I'll make quarters out of it. And we're going to juice this right into our serving dish, so it's so easy. Just take these and squeeze your orange juice right over. Of course, if you have an orange with seeds, you want to make sure those do not go in the bowl. I'm using a navel orange, so it's really sweet. Now we'll drizzle in our olive oil. I want to use about 3 to 4 tablespoons. Just want to whisk as you drizzle. That looks great. I'm going to add in some of those fennel fronds from earlier. I have about 2 teaspoons that I just finely minced with a sharp knife. I'm going to put about a teaspoon of sea salt. We already salted our veggies earlier, but we want to make sure our dressing is salted to bring out the sweet flavor of the orange. Give this a little whisk. And now, bring our dish over. I'm going to take our veggies, and before you pick the pan up to put those in, just loosen these up. You can see where they get really nice and brown. And that's exactly what you're looking for. That brings all the flavors out. They caramelize in the oven. They're just fantastic. Just loosen these. And then we'll bring them over and just put them right in the dressing. And this is a great alternative to a cold salad. You can serve this hot like it is, or you can let this one go to room temperature and it's just as good. So it makes a great holiday dish. And sometimes when I take it to a Thanksgiving or a holiday potluck, I like to let it cool completely and serve it on a bed of arugula or chicory or something like that. Same dressing, same idea. It just gives it a little greenery. And once you get all your veggies in, just give this a nice toss. And I promise you will love this roasted vegetable salad, whether you serve it at home for a side dish or take it to your next holiday potluck.